Okay, cold weather clothing. When dressing for cold weather, you should wear several layers of clothing. Multiple layers provide better protection from a single thick cover. You have more flexibility to control your body temperature by adding or removing a layer. Cold weather protection should consist of at least the following 3 layers. First, a thin layer, sometimes called the transport layer, next to your skin. This layer pulls moisture away from your skin, keeping you dry and warm. Underwear made of polypropylene or polyester material works well. Wool is the best fiber. The goal is to wick moisture away from the skin. A thermal middle layer of bulkier material for insulation. Wool has been the material of choice for warmth, but newer materials such as polyester pile are also commonly used. And third, an outer layer that resists chilling winds and wet conditions such as rain, sleet, or snow. The top 2 layers should have zippers to allow you to vent some body heat if you become too warm. When choosing protective clothing, you should pay attention to the type of material from which it is made. Cotton should be avoided in cold, wet environments. Cotton tends to absorb moisture, causing chilling from wetness. For example, if you wear cotton trousers and walk through wet grass, the cotton soaks up the moisture from the grass. This will chill you in the cold weather. Whether cotton is appropriate in warm, dry weather. However, cotton is appropriate in warm, dry weather because it absorbs moisture and pulls heat away from the body. As an outer layer in cold weather, you may consider plastic-coated nylon as it provides good waterproof protection. However, it may also hold in body heat and perspiration, which makes you wet both inside and out. Newer, less airtight materials allow perspiration and some heat to escape while the material retains its water resistance. Avoid flammable or meltable synthetic material anytime there is a possibility of fire. Turnout gear. Turnout or bunker gear is a fire service term for protective clothing designed for use in structural firefighting environments. Turnout gear provides some protection by using different layers of fabric or other material to provide protection from heat of fire. It also helps to reduce trauma from impact or cuts and keeps water away from the body. Like most protective clothing, turnout gear adds weight and reduces range of motion to some degree. The exterior fabrics provide an increased protection from cuts and abrasions. They also act as barriers to high external temperatures in cold weather, as insulated thermal inner layer and material that helps retain body heat is recommended. Turnout gear or bunker jackets provide minimal protection from electrical shock. However, it does protect you from heat, fire, possible flashover, and flying sparks. The front opening of the jacket should be fastened, and the jacket should be worn with the collar up and closed in front to protect your neck and upper chest. Proper fit is important so that you can move freely. Firefighting gloves provide the best protection from heat, cold, and cuts, yet these gloves reduce manual dexterity. In addition, firefighting gloves will not protect you from electrical hazards. In rescue situations, you must be able to freely use your hands to operate rescue tools, provide patient care, and perform other duties. Wearing puncture-proof leather gloves and latex gloves underneath will permit free use of your hands and offer added protection from both injury and body fluids. Helmets. You should wear a helmet anytime you're working in a fall zone. A fall zone is an area where you're likely to encounter falling objects. The helmet should provide top and side impact protection. It should also have a secure chin strap. Objects will often fall one after another. If the strap is not secure, the first falling object may knock off your helmet. This leaves your head unprotected as the remaining objects fall. Construction-type helmets are not well suited for rescue situations. They offer minimal impact protection and have inadequate chin straps. Modern fire helmets offer impact protection, however, the projecting brim at the back of the neck may get in your way in a rescue situation. In cold weather, a great loss of body heat occurs if you're not wearing a hat or a helmet. An insulated hat made from wool or synthetic material can be pulled down over the face and the base of the skull to reduce heat loss in extremely cold weather. You should always wear a helmet with a chin strap and a face shield in situations involving electrical hazards. The shell of the helmet should be made of a certified electrical non-conductor. The chin strap should not stretch. In fact, it should fasten securely so the helmet stays in place. If you are knocked down or a power line hits your head, you should also be able to lock the face shield on the helmet. This will protect your face and eyes from power lines and flying sparks. Standard fire turnout helmet should meet all these needs. Boots. Boots should protect your feet. They should be water resistant, fit well, and be flexible so that you can comfortably walk for long distances. You'll be working Outdoors, you should choose boots that cover and protect your ankles, keeping out stones, debris, snow. Steel-toe boots are preferred. In cold weather, your boots are to also protect you from the cold. Leather is one of the best materials for boots. However, other materials such as waterproof, windproof, breathable fabrics are also very good. The soles of your boots must provide traction. Lug-type soles may grip well in snow, but they become very slippery when caked with mud. Properly fitted boots and shoes are extremely important because a minor annoyance can develop into a disabling injury. Painful blisters may develop if your feet slip around inside your boots, so make sure you have enough room to wiggle your toes. Boots should be puncture resistant, protect the toes, provide foot support. It may also be difficult to obtain a good fit with firefighting boots. Shoe inserts or sock layering may be needed to ensure a comfortable fit. Make sure the tops of your boots are sealed off to keep rain, snow, glass, or other materials from getting into your boots. Moisture increases blistering. Wool or wicking socks help prevent feet from becoming wet. Socks will keep your feet warm and provide some cushioning for you as you walk. In cold weather, 2 pairs of socks are generally preferable to 1 thick pair. A thin sock next to the foot helps to wick perspiration away from the thicker outer sock. This tends to keep your feet warmer, drier, generally more comfortable. When you purchase new shoes or boots, you may want them on while wearing 2 pairs of socks to ensure proper fit. Eye protection. The human eye is very fragile, and permanent loss of sight can occur from very minor injuries. You need to protect your eyes from blood and other body fluids, foreign objects, plants, insects, and debris from extrication. You may wear eyeglasses with side shields during routine patient care. However, when tools are being used during extrication, you should wear a face shield or goggles. In these instances, prescription eyeglasses do not provide adequate protection. In snow or white sand, particularly at higher altitude, you must protect your eyes from ultraviolet exposure. Specially designed eyeglasses or goggles can provide this. In addition, your eye protection must be adaptable to the weather and the physical demands of the task. It is critical that you have clear vision all the time, at all times. Ear protection. Exposure to loud noises for long periods of time can cause permanent hearing loss. Certain equipment, such as helicopters, some extraction tools, and sirens, produce high levels of noise. Wearing soft foam industrial earplugs usually provides adequate protection. Skin protection. If your skin needs protection against a sunburn while you're working outdoors, long-term exposure to the sun increases the possibility of skin cancer. It may be considered simply an annoyance, but sunburn is a type of burn. In reflective areas such as sand, water, and snow, you risk the sunburn increases. Protect your skin by applying sunscreen with a minimum sun protection factor SPF of 15. Body armor. The policy for most departments directs EMTs to avoid situations that involve gun violence. EMS responders in some areas wear body armor, bulletproof vests for personal protection. Some types of body armor are available. They range from extremely lightweight and flexible to heavy and bulky. The lighter vests do not stop larger caliber bullets. However, they offer more flexibility and are preferred by most law enforcement personnel. Lighter vests are commonly worn under a uniform shirt or jacket. The larger, heavier vests are worn on the outside of your uniform. Vests may not be practical to wear on a daily basis. They are also costly and do not protect against rifle ammunition or stabbing attacks. Long, loose hair, rings, or jewelry. This comes off. Okay, you need to be careful wearing long, unsecured hair, loose rings, and jewelry. For example, these items can become caught in machinery during extrication. Due to the multitude of unusual situations in which EMTs may find themselves placed, many EMS services have restricted policies regarding hair, rings, and jewelry. You should tie hair up neatly, limit the number of rings worn, and wear only a watch on the wrist. Caring for critically ill and injured patients. When you are caring for critically ill or injured patient, the patient needs to know who you are and what you're doing. Let the patient know you are attending to his or her immediate needs, and these are your primary concerns at this moment. As soon as possible, explain to the patient what is going on. Confusion, anxiety, and other feelings of helplessness will be decreased if you keep the patient informed from the start. Never assume a patient cannot hear you. Avoid making unprofessional comments during resuscitation, and treat all patients with dignity and respect. Responses of the critical patient. Patients who are dying as a result of trauma, an acute medical emergency, or terminal disease will feel threatened. That threat may be related to the concern about survival. These concerns may involve feelings of helplessness, disability, pain, and separation. Let the patient know immediately that you're there to help. Anxiety. Anxiety is a response to the anticipation of danger. The source of the anxiety is often unknown, but the case of seriously injured or ill patients, the source is usually recognizable. What may increase the anxiety are the unknowns of the current situation. Patients may ask the following questions: what will happen to me? What are you doing? Will I make it? And what will my disabilities be? Patients who are anxious may have the following signs or symptoms: emotional upset, sweaty and cool skin, diaphoretic, rapid breathing, hyperventilating, fast pulse, tachycardic, and restlessness. So, concerns for the dying, critically injured patient: anxiety, pain and fear, anger and hostility, depression, dependency, guilt, mental health problems, receiving unrelated bad news, tension, fear, and shakiness, tremulous. For the anxious patient, time seems to be extended. Seems like minutes, and minutes seem like seconds seem like minutes, and minutes seem like hours. Anxiety is never helpful to a patient and can cause real physiologic harm. It's your job to do everything you can to reduce your patient's anxiety and help your patient cope with what may be the most terrifying experience in his or her lifetime. Pain and fear. Pain and fear are interrelated. Pain is often associated with illness or trauma. Fear is generally... Okay. Okay, it's your job to do everything you can to reduce your patient's anxiety and help your patient cope with what may be the most terrifying experience in his or her lifetime. Pain and fear. Pain and fear are closely interrelated. Pain is often associated with illness or trauma. Fear is generally thought of in relation to the oncoming pain and the outcome of the illness or trauma. It's often helpful to encourage patients to express their pains and fears because expression begins the process of adjustment to the pain and acceptance of the emergency medical care that may be necessary. Some patients find it difficult to openly admit their fear. The fear may be expressed as bad dreams, withdrawal, tension, restlessness, butterflies in the stomach, or nervousness. In some cases, it may be expressed as anger. Often, you may be tempted to make light of a patient's pain and fear. It is easier to say to the stroke patient, "Oh, you'll be okay," than "I'm sure you're really scared right now because you're not able to talk. But you should know I am doing everything I can to help you." Making a connection with the patient through eye contact and the squeeze of a hand can often do more to allay fear than the most eloquent words. Anger and hostility. You may find your patient is expressing anger with very demanding and complaining behavior. Often this may be related to the fear and anxiety of the emergency medical care that's being given. In other situations, fear is so acute that the patient may want to express anger toward you or others, but is unable to do so because of the dependency factor. If you find you're the target of the patient's anger, make sure you're safe. Do not take the anger or insults personally. Be tolerant. Do not become defensive. Anger may also be expressed physically, and you may be the target of the displaced aggression. If the patient or a relative becomes so emotionally upset that you are physically assaulted, or you believe this could happen, back out of the situation. Such hostility must be contained. If emergency medical care is not possible under these circumstances, law enforcement intervention is required. Depression. Depression is a natural physiologic and psychologic response to illness, especially if the illness is prolonged, debilitating, or terminal. Whether the depression is a temporary sadness or a clinical depression that is long-term, there is, of course, little you can do to alleviate the pain of depression during the brief time the patient is being treated and transported. The best you can do in treating and transporting a patient experiencing depression is to be compassionate, supportive, and non-judgmental. Dependency. Dependency usually takes longer to develop than during the very brief relationship developed in EMS. When medical care is given to any individual, a sense of dependency may be developed. Patients who are placed in this position may feel helpless and become resentful. The resentfulness may arouse feelings of inferiority, shame, or weakness. Make every attempt to remain supportive and compassionate. Guilt. Many patients who are dying, their families, or the caregivers of those patients may feel guilty over what has happened to them. Occasionally, family members or long-term caregivers may feel a degree of relief when an extended illness is finally over. That relief may later turn into guilt. Most of the time, however, no one can explain these feelings. The magnitude of guilt may be very great. Sometimes feelings of guilt can result in a delay in seeking emergency medical care. Again, understanding the complex emotions that often come to the surface during times of emergency and stress may help you cope with some of the intense and often seemingly bizarre behavior you'll encounter in your role as an EMT. Mental health problems. As an EMT, you'll be called on to treat and transport patients with mental health problems. These problems may be the cause of the patient's distress or may be caused by the stresses of physical illness or injury. Mental health problems such as disorientation, confusion, or delusions may develop in the dying patient. In these instances, the patient may display behavior inconsistent with normal patterns of thinking, feeling, or acting. Common characteristics of such behavior may include the following: loss of contact with reality, distortion of perception. Patients may have difficulty judging such common factors as time, distance, and relationships. Regression. Patients may regress to an earlier stage in their development, often infancy or childhood. Diminished control of basic impulses and desires. Patients may act out on their urges without being able to exercise the normal judgment expected of adults. For example, patients may become violent or inappropriately affectionate. Abnormal mental content, including delusions and hallucinations. The normal course of dying can cause a patient to seem disoriented. In some long-term situations, generalized personality deterioration may occur. For a discussion, go to Chapter 2, Psychiatric Emergencies, for discussion on mental health. Receiving unrelated bad news. A patient who is in critical condition or is dying may not want to hear unrelated bad news, such as the death of someone close to him or her. Such news may depress the patient or cause the patient to give up hope. Techniques for communicating with the critical patient. Avoid sad and grim comments. EMTs, other safety